Most people choose a job the same way they choose a restaurant when they are hungry. They look at what is available. They pick what pays the most. They sit down, and they stay. Not because it is the best choice, because it is the comfortable choice, because the hunger, the financial pressure, the need to cover what they owe, makes anything that pays feel like the right answer. And 10 years later, they are still sitting at the same table, better paid, more comfortable, and no closer to financial freedom than the day they walked in. Here's the question most people never ask when they take a job. Not, what does this pay? But what does this teach? Because here is what Robert Kiyosaki understood that most people never do. A salary compensates you for your time. Skills compound over your entire life. One is linear, the other is exponential, and most people spent their entire careers choosing linear. In the last step, we talked about the investor mindset, how the wealthy think about risk differently, how fear is a feeling, not a signal to stop. Today, we go into something that might be the most counterintuitive idea Robert Kiyosaki ever wrote. Work to learn, not to earn, and why your job, regardless of what it pays, might be the most important investment you will ever make, or the most expensive mistake, depending entirely on what you are working for. Let's begin. Here's how most people choose a job. They look at the salary, the benefits, the stability, the title. They optimize for compensation, for comfort, for the path of least resistance between where they are and where they need to be financially. And this makes complete sense. Bills are real. Rent is real. The pressure to earn enough to survive and then enough to live and then enough to feel secure is real. Nobody is dismissing that pressure. But here is what that pressure costs when it becomes the only filter through which you choose your work. It costs you skill. It costs you capability. It costs you the compounding growth that comes not from the salary you earn, but from the person you become while earning it. Kiyosaki tells a story that most people read and immediately forget. When he was a young man, Rich Dad told him to work for free. Not forever, not as a permanent arrangement, but to seek out experiences that would teach him what no salary could ever compensate for. Poor Dad thought this was irresponsible. Poor Dad, the educated one, the one with the government job and the pension, believed that the value of work was measured entirely in the paycheck it produced. Rich Dad understood something different. A salary compensates you for your time. Skills compound over your entire life. One is linear, the other is exponential, and most people spend their entire careers choosing linear. Here is what working to learn actually means. It does not mean working for nothing. It does not mean ignoring compensation. It means choosing your work not just for what it pays today, but for what it builds in you for the rest of your life. And the difference between those two criteria is enormous. There is a person who spends 10 years in a comfortable role that pays well, requires nothing new of them, and confirms every skill they already have. At the end of 10 years, they have 10 years of experience. And there's a person who spends 10 years deliberately choosing roles that stretch them, that expose them to new domains, that require them to build capabilities they did not have at the start. At the end of 10 years, they have 10 years of compounded growth. Same 10 years. Completely different outcome. Not from talent, from intention. Kiyosaki identifies the skills that every person needs to build real wealth. Not to get a better job, to build real wealth. And the list is specific. The first is sales and communication, the ability to articulate value, to persuade, to move people from indifference to action. This is the skill most educated people fear most, because they were taught, often implicitly, that selling is beneath them, that real professionals do not need to sell, that their work speaks for itself. And this belief, held sincerely by some of the most intelligent people in the world, is one of the most financially devastating beliefs a person can carry, because everything in the world is sold. Every idea, every product, every service, every vision, every career. The best doctor with no patients is just a person with an expensive degree. The best product with no customers is just expensive inventory. The best idea, never communicated, is just a thought that died quietly in someone's head. The person who cannot sell is permanently dependent on someone who can. And dependence, in any form, is the opposite of financial freedom. Sales is not manipulation. Sales is communication. And the inability to communicate value is one of the most expensive limitations a person can carry into every room they ever enter. The second is leadership. Not management. Leadership. The ability to work with people who are smarter than you toward a shared goal. Kiyosaki is explicit about this. The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented. They are the people who can attract, retain, and direct talented people. A team of 5 average people led brilliantly will consistently outperform a team of 5 brilliant people led poorly. The multiplier is not the talent. The multiplier is the leadership. The solopreneur hits a ceiling. The leader builds a system. And systems scale in ways that individuals cannot. If you are the most skilled person in every room you enter, you are in the wrong rooms. And leadership, like every other skill on this list, is not a personality trait. It is a practice, built deliberately, over time. The third is financial literacy, the language of money we talked about in Step 5. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. You cannot measure what you cannot read. The person who understands financial statements can walk into any business, any investment, any opportunity, and know within minutes whether the numbers tell the truth or a story. Not a skill for accountants, a skill for anyone who wants to make intelligent decisions with money, which is everyone, which includes you. The fourth is understanding systems. How businesses actually work, how marketing connects to sales, how sales connects to operations, how operations connects to finance, how finance connects to strategy. The person who understands the entire organism, not just their role within it, is the person who can never truly be replaced, because they don't just do a job, they understand the machine. And machines always need people who understand them. Now here is the counterintuitive part that most people resist. Kiyosaki does not say quit your job and go learn these skills. He says choose your next position based on which of these skills it will teach you. Not the highest salary, the highest learning. And this reframe, small as it sounds, changes everything about how you move through a career. Because there's a person who takes a job that pays the most today, without asking what it will make them worth 5 years from now. And there's a person who asks, will this role teach me to sell? Will it teach me to lead? Will it expose me to financial decision-making? Will it help me understand how the whole system works? And when the answer is yes, they take the role, even if it pays less, even if the title is smaller, even if nobody else understands the decision. Because they are not optimizing for today. They are optimizing for the version of themselves that exists in 10 years. And that version of themselves will have a portfolio of skills that can generate income in a dozen different ways. for the rest of their life. Here is the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. The job that pays the most today is often the job that costs the most tomorrow, because it requires nothing new, because it confirms what you already know, because it pays you to stay comfortable. And comfort, as we have said before, is the most expensive place most people will ever live. Every hour you spend in a role that teaches you nothing new is an hour invested in someone else's growth, not yours. Not because the work is not valuable, but because you are not becoming more valuable while doing it. And in a world where skills compound, stagnation is not neutral. Stagnation is loss. The 4 skills are not a checklist. They are a compass that tells you not where you are, but where you need to go next. And the action for this week is to find your next direction. Write down the 3 most valuable skills you currently have. Then write down the 3 skills you would need to build to operate at the next financial level. Now look at your current role. Is it building any of those skills? If yes, stay and extract every lesson it has to offer. If no, start asking what role, experience, or environment would build them. Because your next move should not be about the salary. It should be about the skill. The salary is temporary. The skill is permanent. And the person who chooses the skill over the salary, consistently over a long enough period of time, becomes someone the salary eventually cannot ignore. Most people choose a job the same way they choose a restaurant when they are hungry. They pick what is available. They pick what pays. They sit down. And they stay. The wealthy choose differently. Not because they are less hungry, because they understand that the meal is not the point. The skill is the point. The growth is the point. The person you become while earning the salary is the point. And that person, built deliberately over years, becomes someone no salary could ever fully compensate, because they stopped working for the meal and started working for the kitchen. That moment, it starts right now. In the next step, we go inside, into the 5 obstacles that stop intelligent, capable, well-intentioned people from building the financial life they are fully capable of building. Not market conditions, not lack of capital, not bad timing. 5 internal forces that live not in the market, but in the mind. If something shifted for you today, hit subscribe. Every week, one more idea that the wealthy already know, and the schools never taught you. Stay on the blueprint. See you in the next step.